and welcome to today's reading. It's a longer reading today because I'm doing a reading for the whole of Gemini season, which is coming up on the 21st of May. And I've actually got two readings for you because I've had two very different sets of messages come through, and we're going to be using tarot for this reading as well. Okay, so I just want to start the reading by doing a little meditation so that you can drop into your heart space and get a feeling for which reading it is that's going to be right for you. Okay. So I invite you now to just close your eyes gently. Take a few nice deep breaths in. As you inhale, feel your chest and your ribs expanding outwards. And as you exhale, feel your body starting to soften. Now relax the forehead. Relax the eyebrows, the eyelids, the corners of the nose, the lips, the jaw. Relax your shoulders, your arms, your chest, your belly. Relax your shoulder blades and your back. Now feel your spine unravelling from the base of the neck all the way down to the pelvis. Relax your legs. And I want you now to drop into the heart space. Take some really nice deep breaths as you feel the energy in your heart. Okay, and if you just now gently open your eyes again, I'm going to show you two images. Okay, so image one is the circle, and this is going to be for reading one. Image two is the triangle, and this is going to be for reading two. Go with the one that you first got a feel for when you came out of that meditation. Now it might be that you're drawn to both images, in which case listen right through the reading, because it may be that there are messages in both that are relevant to your circumstances at the moment. As always, within any tarot reading, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is a collective reading, so not all the messages will be for everybody. Okay, so we'll get going with the first one. Okay, so the first reading is the circle one here. So if you chose this reading, I get the feeling that you've been asking a lot of questions just recently. Your curiosity has really been sparked about something. And I get it's because you're challenging the status quo, because something's not quite been sitting right. So on asking these questions, you're starting to learn more about yourself. What makes you tick? What doesn't make you tick anymore? Sorry if I lose my words a little bit here. It's quite an in-depth reading. Okay. And you're starting to realise where your values are in line with certain things and where they're not. And it's with this curiosity that you're really getting to know yourself a bit more. Okay. Now on that, I get the image and the sound of a drum beating. And what's happening when this drum's beating is I can feel that you're stomping. Now at first this stomping is out of frustration. It's like you're stomping frustration and almost fury, a little bit of anger out of your body, and you want rid of it. You want to let go of this feeling of frustration, this feeling of being held back, sort of being confined within this thing that's not resonating with you anymore. Okay, and as you're stomping these things out, this stomping stops being out of frustration and it turns into you're dancing, you're stomping to your own rhythm. That's the image that's coming through, and that's the message that's coming through. So you're getting more in tune with what it is that's making you feel like your life is yours, you know, really feel into what it is that makes you feel good and what feels right for you. And I get the feeling that it's not whatever situation you're in or you've just been in, perhaps. And I've had that clarified by the 9 of Pentacles. So with the increased curiosity that you've had and these increased questions you've been asking and the answers that you've been getting, you're starting to become more secure in who you are as a person and realizing that you don't quite fit in to these things, these constraints that you've had up until recently, or that you're still in, and you're starting to feel a little bit more self-confident. You see here, look, she's really confident. I'm trying to get so the light's not shining on it. You know, she's really holding her confidence. She's surrounded by her pentacles, which, you know, representing abundance. And in this case, I don't get that it's a feeling for, I don't get the feeling that it's for material abundance. I feel like it's an abundance of love for yourself, an abundance of knowing, just really feeling like you are stepping into your own life. You're taking the reins and you're in control of it and feeling confident in it as well. Okay, so that's that's coming through. Now, the next image I had coming through was of, it was some sort of club for children, and I want to say it's like the Scouts. So if you're familiar with the Scouts, great, it's where, you know, children can go to learn skills, and a lot of it's sort of like outdoorsy type stuff. And in this particular image that I've got, the children, and they're quite young, they've been given sort of woodworking tools and knives and things, and they're creating something, they're whittling something. And there is a scout leader there, an adult, watching it, but he's not taking over, he's not sort of being overbearing, he's not helicoptering around panicking about these children using these tools that could potentially be dangerous. And the way I'm interpreting that is that this life that you're now moving into, and I get the feeling that it's that you're starting on a new type of career, and I've had that clarified by the Eight of Cups. Okay, so this card represents a new direction, a change of direction, and I get the impression that for a lot of you this change of direction is career-wise, but it might not be. It might be something totally different. It might be that you're doing some learning, you might be looking at moving to a different place, moving to a new relationship. So this Scoutmaster, I'm going to try and link them in, but it might be a little bit backwards and forwards between these two things. So this Scoutmaster is letting these children be independent, and I get that that's the feeling that's happening now. And one of the interpretations of the Eight of Cups is that you are gaining independence and you're forging your own new path. But what's happening is, can you see that the pentacles are out of balance? 8, you know, you could have 2 stacks of 4, you could have 8 altogether, but what's happening is you've got a little bit of an imbalance. You've got 5 on this side and 3 on this side. So as you're stepping into your new path, what this is representing is that there is something that's still keeping you on the old path, in the old life. Now, that could be different for different people. I do get the impression that if it is a career reading that we're doing here, if it is a career that you're resonating with, this is either because you're having to keep that thing going so you've got a level of security whilst you move into this new thing, which is a very sensible thing to do, you know, to make sure that you're financially secure, that you're moving forward. But what we don't want is for that thing to totally tie us back and hold us back from taking this new path, and that's the advice that's coming through from tarot. So yeah, be sensible, but also don't let it fully hold you back. Okay, now the other thing that this could represent, and I'm getting that this is the feeling for some of you in this collective as well, is that the thing that's sort of keeping you held back isn't a physical thing like a job or, you know, a relationship or whatever. I feel that it's your own self-belief. So you've got this new path that you're wanting to move into, and that you are moving into, but there's just these little seeds of doubt in the back of your mind, and that's totally normal. You know, it's sort of conditioning that we've had to question things, to make sure that we're safe. So this is coming from sort of like the logic brain, to make sure that we have this safety before we go on this new path. And that's okay, you know, put things in place, have a plan. That's the message that's coming through from Spirit, and do it in a way that is going to work best for you, and that's going to be different for everybody. Okay, so that's what's coming through with this one. So it's this transition from one world to the next. If it is about self-limiting beliefs, it'd be good to work through what those are and know exactly what it is that is holding you back. Okay. Now, the next image that came through to me was of 2 women gossiping. And I get the feeling that the gossiping about these changes that have come in, the fact that you are stepping into your Queen of Wands energy, and you're starting to be more independent and a little bit different, you know, like the challenging the status quo thing. And it might be that you're starting to dress a bit differently, have a different external appearance as well, because you're not wanting to conform to somebody else's normal anymore. You're wanting to stand in your own individuality. So I get the feeling that these two women, and this isn't like an actual thing that's happening, by the way, this is just how it's come through to me. So there's this worry that you have that people are starting to talk about you and, you know, wonder what it is that you're doing, and you're getting a little bit worried about what people think of you and that it'll change their opinion of who you are. And tarot is asking you to not worry about that. And I did pull oh, well, it's back to the Queen of Wands actually. Oh no, I've not pulled the Queen of Wands yet, sorry. So that was the next one in the pile that I've got ready to go. So tarot is advising you to step into your, let me get it so you can see it, your Queen of Wands energy. Now the Queen of Wands is confident in who she is. She is sitting on her throne, fully, you know, just embodying who she is. She's got a little black cat companion at the side of there, you know, keeping her protected from anyone who's gossiping about her. And she's just surrounded by beauty, you know, look at the sunflowers on this side. She just looks so at peace with herself. And I think that's the message that's coming through as well. So have peace in who it is that you are. Have confidence in it. You know, don't be worried about what other people think. And there's a brilliant new book come out by Mel Robbins called the Let Them Theory. And I'd really highly recommend reading that book, because that is all about just like, let people think what they think. Their opinions aren't your business. As long as you are holding your Queen of Wands and rocking it, then that's all that matters. You know, it's only your opinion that matters at the end of the day. Okay, right. So the next image that came through, and this was a really weird one actually, because I got a little phrase in my head, and it was, don't throw the pig out. And in my head I had this image of a flying pig, but it wasn't like an actual pig, it was like a spirit pig. So, you know, a pig with wings, a pig might fly sort of thing. So anyway, so it's this pig that's been sort of thrown out. Now, when you look at what the interpretation of pig spirit is, you know, they symbolise intelligence, curiosity and joy. And I think that's really, you know, supporting this Queen of Wands sort of thing. It's by being curious, asking those questions and having, you know, listening to the responses, and you've now got that intelligence about yourself that's allowing you to step back into who you are. And that is going to bring you more joy, because you're doing things for the love of doing it, because you enjoy it, not because it's what somebody else does or it's what's expected. You're stepping back into your own joy. Okay. And I get the feeling that you've been dimming your light in the past, you know, sort of suppressing who it is that you really are in order to fit in with the people around you. And that's a really normal way to respond in any sort of social situation, because we're social creatures at the end of the day, and we don't want to be rejected by our peers, the people that we're with. So a lot of sort of conditioning goes into this as well, is that we do morph into somebody else and change who we are, put on a mask so that we're, you know, we're fitting in with people, so that we're not being rejected. But I'm getting the feeling that you're starting to not really care about that anymore. And realising perhaps that the people that you are trying to dim your light for aren't the right people for you anyway, you know. And it's in asking these questions and getting a feel for what your values are and what makes you tick, that you're realising that some of the people that you socialise with, you work with, perhaps don't share the same values as you. So that's a very profound message to come through from the image of a flying pig. Okay, now the next quote that came through sort of backed that up. So I got the words in my head, it was somebody saying these words, I don't want to be one of those wannabes. So again, it's you're not bothered about keeping up with the Joneses. You're not bothered about comparing yourself to other people. You've really stepped out of all of that and you're totally embracing who it is that you are. So we're coming back to this Queen of Wands energy, and it's so lovely to see that coming out for you. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this reading. It's really nice. Okay, now the next image I get is of a field, and there's some sort of mass social gathering going on there, and I get the feel that it's some sort of festival or some sort of, I don't know, celebration. And I really get the strong feeling that there are so many people in this same sort of energetic space as you at the moment. There's a whole collective, and I feel like I'm included in this as well, where we have been asking these questions. We are starting to question things, starting to question if things are right for us or not. And in doing that, it's sort of having a knock-on effect on other people as well. And it's sort of inspiring other people to start asking questions themselves as well and get to know themselves better. And more people are joining this social gathering. And that's really exciting as well, because the more we're spreading this sort of energy, I think the more beautiful the world's going to be, because we don't all fit into a nice, neat little mould. We don't all fit into the same size box. We all have different strengths, different talents, different views, different values. You know, it's just what makes the world a beautiful place, isn't it? Oh, I'm getting all emotional doing this reading. It's really nice. And I think within this this gathering, I just know that more and more people within it are finding their own truth and starting to speak their own truth. And I got 2 clarification messages come through when I thought about that. And the first one was the throat chakra opening. So when you start to speak your truth, you know, your chakras are sort of energy points within your body. And if you've not been living in your truth, not speaking, not expressing how you truly feel about something, could be because there's a blockage in your chakras, in your throat chakra. And I get the feeling that a lot of you are breaking through that point at the moment. So you are opening that throat chakra. And I get that for a lot of you, that is involving singing, like really singing from the rooftops, just letting yourself go, not caring what anyone thinks. Now, it could be that for some of you who are, you know, moving into singing, that might be what you're moving into now, starting to do more of now that you're finding what brings you joy. So that's really nice. Let me know if that's something that you're on with. Yeah, please comment below. Now, the second clarification that came through was a woman saying these exact words, and it was, I just keep thinking I'm a person, not a number. I deserve better than this. And that is pulling right back to that, you know, start of this reading. It was that there is a feeling of frustration in being in some sort of situation that's not right, and yeah, being treated as a number. So that's why I get a feeling that this is really about a work situation. You are a person, not a number, and your unique self. Okay, now with the expressing your truth, I'm getting now that you're not scared of judgment anymore on that one. And I suppose that was the advice that was coming through before with the let me get it back. Oh no, I've not brought it up yet. Whoa, right, this is my next card. Sorry, this reading is all over the place. There's so much energy in it. Okay, so expressing your truth without fear of judgment. Now, this is the card that came up for that. So it's the 7 of Wands. Now, this guy is having to choose his battles. You know, he's here with his wand, and there's all of these different battles that he's got to fight. Now, get my words out, Jenny. What this is representing in this reading is that there are going to be some naysayers within your situation, you know, with the way that you're changing, with the way that you are starting to express your truth, with the way that you are embracing this new life path that you're on. There are going to be people who just don't understand. And the fear here is that the way that that battle is going to come across is in the way of words. And what you don't want is for these words to plant seeds of doubt on this new path that you have. So that's why it's important to pick your battles. There are some people that it's just not worth even telling them what it is that you're doing. The people who support you will be there for you no matter what. And if there are people who are, planting seeds of doubt, and it might not be for any sort of malicious sort of reason, it could be out of a place of worry. I know sometimes I don't tell my mum things because she is a worrier, and she'll be like, oh, but what if this and what if that? And so sometimes it's best just to not even engage in those sort of battles that are coming through. Okay, and this is coming back to expressing your truth without fear of judgment, but not letting other people bring you back down and sort of dampen, or I'll tell you what, keep you in this Eight of Wands, sort of between two, not Eight of Wands, Eight of Cups, keep you between these two worlds, because it might be that they add into this sort of negative self-belief sort of thing that we were talking about before. Okay, so, right, moving on. I did a reading a couple of weeks ago that I think will be tying into this for a lot of people. So that reading was all about somebody finding that they have a gift, and it's a gift that they're feeling called to share with the world. So again, I do get that this is a career path that someone is forging. Now in that particular reading, I'll put a link to it in the description box below. It talked about how this gift that you have is unique to you and nobody else is doing it, and you're forging your own path with it. But a word of warning that came out from tarot was this one here, which is the Five of Wands. Now this is all about competition. So what it's asking you to not do is be afraid of anybody within the field that you're moving into being how can I word this? Being someone that is there to be competed with, because that's going to sort of be the wrong energy for you to stay in your Queen of Wands. Okay, because that is coming out of fear, is that. So the message that comes through with this one is, rather than competing against anybody who might be in this particular field that you're moving into, start to collaborate with them instead. That would be a more helpful and healthy thing to do for you to be able to move forward along this path. Okay, so that's the advice from tarot for that particular thing. Now I got that the outcome, and this is brilliant, the outcome from tarot was the Chariot. So this is you taking control. It's you taking control and moving forwards with this plan. And that is, it's going to be different for different people how they do that. But it's all down to you. It's all down to the way you want to do things, not how anybody else thinks you should do it. He's being guided by his two little, I don't know what you call them, like the Sphinx, aren't they? That are pulling his chariot along. So, that it might be that there's a couple of different options for you, but actually they're working together to pull you forward to where you need to be. So that's that one. Now, with moving forwards into this, you are getting more and more into your Queen of Wands. I'll bring her back up again because I just think she's brilliant. I think she's my favourite card in the deck. Here we are, Queen of Wands. The more you're getting into your Queen of Wands, the more of an individual you're becoming and stepping into your own light, the more you're going to meet people who are doing the same thing. Okay, and on that realisation, I had a beautiful image come into my head, and it was of a table that was covered in loads of feathers, but each feather was totally unique. There's all these different coloured feathers, and it just looked so beautiful, this beautiful spread of feathers, all different colours, all different types of plumage from different birds. And that is, for me, is such a strong message. And it reminds me of this, actually, that was the the card for this reading, you know, all of these different patterns and things, and they're all coming together to create something beautiful. Because isn't the world a much more beautiful place when everybody can be themselves? And the more, you know, the more variety we have, the more difference in people we have, the more beautiful, the more creative, the more harmonious as well, you know, really understanding that each of us is on our own unique path, have our own different things that we're bringing to the world. And I think I'm going to leave this message on that, because it's just such a lovely way to end, is that you are one of these unique feathers, you know, in this spread of loveliness, in this collective that I could see stood in this field at this gathering of some sort, this festival. Okay, so such a lovely reading. If any of that resonates with you, and if you, I tell you what, I'd be really excited if you could share with me what it is that you're starting to step into, what it is that's making you stomp to your own rhythm. Please leave a comment in the comments below. I'd be really, really honoured to see what it is that you've got going on. Okay, sending you much love and positive energy. Okay, so now we're going to move on to reading 2, which has a totally different vibe, I will tell you that now, and that's why I've done this as 2 separate readings. It's still nice, but it is just a little bit heavier. Okay, so this is the reading if you chose this particular image. Okay, so for the people in this who've chosen this reading, I get the feeling that you've recently recovered from something, or you are in the recovery process, and that you're doing really well. And I'm getting that for a lot of you, it's about some sort of addiction. So that might be some sort of substance addiction, an addiction to some sort of toxic relationship, an unhealthy relationship, or it could be any other addiction. It could be food. It could even be something like scrolling on social media. Okay, but the feeling is that you are doing really well. And the card that's come up for that is the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so the Page of Pentacles is secure in his material sort of scenario. He's come to a stable position, and he's come to this stable position by following a formula that's worked for him. So it might be a set process, or he's come up with some sort of healing journey that has helped him through this process to overcome this problem. And if you look back to this image, you can see there's like a series of steps on it. So it might be that you've been part of some sort of structured recovery program, in therapy perhaps, or it could just be that you've found your own way of working that has helped you to lift out of this addiction. Okay, but the thing that's coming through next is the feeling of there being setbacks. And I don't feel like it's just one setback. I feel like there have been multiple setbacks. I got the word come through, conspiring. So it almost feels like the universe is conspiring against you to just give you a bit of shit right now. So with this image, you know, it's a triangle and there are 3 steps on it. I'm getting the feeling that there have been 3 big setbacks just recently. And what's happened there is it's made you feel quite vulnerable. And this is the card. I'm going to just cover it up. So YouTube don't like us showing naked people. So I'm covering them up. So we've got the Devil card. Now the Devil card is all about temptation. Now these 2 people at the bottom, there's a man and a woman who are fully naked, and I'm getting the feeling that whatever these setbacks are that you've just had, they have made you feel incredibly vulnerable. And the temptation here is to go back to that thing that you used in the past to be able to escape from things. So if it is that you're recovering from, you know, substance misuse, or that you've left a toxic relationship, it might be that you are feeling that this is a temptation at the moment to go back to that thing that you've done so well to escape from. Okay. Now, the advice that is coming through regarding that is back to this image. So pull back to these steps that you've taken to move away from what it, the destructive behaviour that you had in the past. What this image is also representing to me as well is strength. The triangle is a very strong structure. So you're being called to pull back on the strength that you have. And I'm getting the feeling that you have been really resilient just recently. You've kept that strength and you've kept going, even though it's been really hard. But I do get that there's a lot of negative self-talk in there, and that you don't always give yourself the credit that you deserve. But if nobody else has said it to you and you're not saying it to yourself, I'm going to say it. I'm proud of you. You've done bloody well to get to where you've got to now. I'm feeling emotional there because I can really feel it. The card that's come up then is this Six of Wands. Okay. Now, what this card says, can you see, he's a knight that's returning from, I'm guessing it's from battle or something. And can you see there's all the other people raising their staffs to him, raising their wands? It's because they're celebrating him. They're celebrating his success. So the advice coming from Tarot is to start celebrating in your successes, no matter how small they are. Really do give yourself a pat on the back, because what you're doing isn't easy. It's been a really difficult journey, and you should be so proud of yourself for how far you've come. Okay? So just keep doing that, and keep doing whatever it is that's helping you on this healing journey, climbing these steps, just really working with it, pulling back to that. Okay, and also with this one, it's not just about you celebrating your success yourself. It's about letting others celebrate your success with you. So I mentioned before that it might be that some of you are in some sort of recovery program or in therapy of some kind. Let the people there support you. Let them celebrate in your success. Okay, right. The other tarot card that came out as advice was this one, the Ten of Swords, which looks absolutely terrifying. Okay. But what this card represents is the letting go of the past, okay? Because you are moving into something new. So it's encouragement to keep going on the path that you're going on, keep on this recovery journey, and leave the past behind, because a new you is coming out as a result of letting go of this, as a result of this healing journey that you've been on, as a result of this strength that you have, okay? So you need to let go of the old way of doing things and find something else that works for you. And I really do get that you've found that. You've found a strategy that works for you. It's just that this, where's he gone? This devil has been sent to tempt you. Life has sent a challenge, a few challenges by the feels of it. Okay. So another image that came into my head then, which kind of backs up this feeling of needing to celebrate your success and letting other people celebrate your success as well. So I got the voice of somebody saying, oh, I'm just going to move. I'm just going to move to a new area. That's what it feels like. So this person, and this might be you might resonate with this. He thinks that in changing his external environment, changing things externally, somehow everything's going to be fixed, but it isn't, because all you're going to do if you move to this new place, this new situation, this new environment, is you're still taking all of that baggage with you. And I did get the image then of a man with really heavy suitcases in both hands and trying to carry some under his arms as well, and he's got this massive rucksack on. He has got so much baggage to carry, and he's bringing it all with him to this new place. And then what happens in this image then is somebody else comes and offers him a hand. So the advice that's coming through is let someone help you. Let someone help you take the load. And before, I'm still pulling back to this idea that there's some sort of recovery program or therapy, and it might even just be friends or family that's supporting you. And the advice is to let them, because in letting them, you're going to be able to work your way through whatever it is that you're holding on to, whatever it is that's making you want to reach back to that addictive behaviour that you had in the past. Okay, Sorry, it's just getting quite heavy, this message, isn't it? I'm really sorry. But it needs out, you know. Okay. So yeah, take the help. Okay. Now, to clarify that, we got the Two of Swords. Now, the Two of Swords, this woman, she's holding a heart. She's got swords going off in 2 different directions. She is not sure how she feels. She doesn't know whether she feels this way or that way. She's under the moon. Now, if we're in the moon sort of energy, that means that sometimes things are hidden. So there isn't always a sort of clear path out of things, okay? So the advice here is that you need to be vulnerable. You need to be vulnerable and let people know that you need help. I do get the impression that a lot of you are already doing that. And in doing that, what you're doing is you're letting this drawbridge down. You're letting people see what it's like to be in your situation. And that in turn is then helping people because they can recognise it in themselves as well. Okay, now when I asked for an outcome card, I got the King of Wands. Now this gent is confident. He is so stable. He knows exactly what it is he wants. He knows exactly where it is, you know, where he is with things. He is just so at peace in the situation that he's in. But also, he is a role model to others. That is one of the interpretations of the King of Wands. Now, I feel that in being vulnerable and letting out your emotions, you are going to move into this role model type of energy. I just have a feeling that this is something that you're being called to be, a role model to others. Your journey has been so difficult. You know, you've had to give up who you were, start afresh for a new life. You know, you've been tempted, you've been, you know, had hurdles thrown your way. You've had this trio of mishaps in recent times. But everything here is pointing to the fact that you have been so resilient. You've shown so much resilience in the face of all this adversity, that you're an inspiration to others. And what I want you to do, what tarot wants you to do, is start celebrating in that. Start sharing in those victories, those small wins, those big wins, whatever it is that you're getting through, sharing it. Be open and vulnerable. Okay, because in sharing those experiences, people can relate to you. And that is going to help you step into this King of Wands energy, being a role model to others, being someone who is so content at where he is after being through such tough times. Okay, and I'm just going to finish on, I can't remember where I heard this, it might have been on another tarot reading actually, that it is, and I'm sure it's probably like a proper quote from someone as well, but I don't know who. Please put a comment below if you know who it is, that it is those who have seen the darkest times that shine the brightest. Okay, so that's the end of your tarot reading for today, group 2. I'm sorry it was quite heavy, but I do think it's had a really positive message towards the end of it. In fact, there's been a positive message all the way through, is that you should be proud of yourself for showing such resilience in such adverse situations. Okay, so I'm going to be doing one of these type of longer readings every month for the change of the astrological seasons, but I'm also going to be continuing with my weekly readings as well. So please like and subscribe to this video and hit the bell notification so that you get notified when new videos do come up. I've also added in my description box a little buy me a coffee link. Just if you feel called to support this channel and just support the work that I'm doing, that'd be really appreciated. So I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sending you so much love and positive energy, both groups of people. Okay, and I'll see you next time.